Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this is another episode of My Story, where I look at my own heritage and share it with you. It's been quite popular recently and people have implored me, if that's not too strong a term, to do some more. So here am I. Now, in the last episode I told you about when I ran away from home and I was living in Petworth and I was writing children's television stuff, and I'd gone up to Leeds at Yorkshire Television to be inspired by that. But I just want to backpedal a bit, because at the same time and a little before, I'd been going on drama courses at Lodge Hill, which is in Pulborough in West Sussex, or it's just south of Pulborough in Watersfield in actual fact. So now this was and still is, I believe, a residential, what would you call it, community centre, I suppose, that is used for all sorts of different purposes. And it sits in 35 acres of woodland, which every time I ever went there, George Rawlings, who was the West Sussex County Drama Advisor, would always introduce Lodge Hill by this 35 acres of woodland and this sort of stuff, which enabled us, when on the top of this hill in the residential centre, to have walks around in all the lovely nature and the woodland that was there. At the time, I mean, I started going when I was 16, I was not that really bothered about the nature side of things. It was the drama and theatre that was fascinating me. So I didn't take advantage of any of that woodland and the walks, which was a bit of a shame. Now, of course, that would be very much my focus. I first went to Lodge Hill on the drama courses, which was run by the council, about when I was 16, and it was a summer school. I'd been going to the local youth theatre, which was Horsham Young Players. I lived in Horsham. And up came this opportunity to go, and I don't know how I found out about it, but probably through that, and applied, and I was accepted. I can't remember what it cost, but it wasn't very much. It was probably something like £20 or £30 to go for a week. And it meant not going to work, because I'd left school at 15 and I was working at a printing place in Horsham. So I took a week off and I was able to go on the summer school, and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was residential, so you stayed there and we got up, you'd have breakfast, you would have various drama courses throughout the day over the 5 days or 6 days, and on the last day you would be putting on a play, and the parents and friends and relations would come along and watch this play. So there was a lecture hall adjacent to the main residential house, which had numerous bedrooms. I never really found out what the history was of Lodge Hill itself, but it was some Victorian big country pile with an extension on with, I don't know how many bedrooms there were, but something like 40 or 50 bedrooms. So, and all quite basic really, as I remember them. They were sort of army camp beds, these metal framed beds. Sometimes you shared, so there would be you and somebody else, and on 2 floors. And other times, if you were very lucky, you had a bedroom to yourself, but mostly people were sharing. And I can't remember, I must have been sharing to begin with. I met some great friends there at Lodge Hill, and it's been etched in my memory. Now, so part of the course that one did, you did improvisation, you did a bit of drama, you did some script, you would do musical theatre. I remember our very energetic musical theatre lady, Rennie Martin, who encouraged us all to sing, and I would try and sing, and now I'm not very good at singing. Anybody who's heard me, I'm pretty flat on the notes. But I was so enthusiastic, and she would, she'd get you to sing. It was all tits and teeth. Get your tits up here, show your teeth, and sing up, dear, sing up. It was quite hilarious, and so I would sing, really loud, and afterwards it's like, no, you're all right, Richard. You don't need to sing any louder. I do remember when I was at comprehensive school, I was told by the music teacher that in the classes that we had where we were promoting or were being taught to sing, I was actually told, Richard, can you just mime it? Because my singing must have been atrocious. It's hard to believe now that a teacher would say that to you, and it's no, you just mime it, the rest of you can sing. But that's what happened. So great fun times at Lodge Hill, doing all these different disciplines, from sword fighting, as I say, and even bits of mime. But I'll come on to the mime a little bit later because that's a special case with me. After the first summer school, I was so bitten by this, I needed to go back. I had to go back, and so went again the following year, applied, and I got in. Now, at this point, I had met a girl who I was besotted with. Unfortunately, the feeling wasn't mutual, but she was a friend, and I was very much in love with her as a 16-year-old boy. And she had tried to get in on the summer school, but she hadn't been accepted. So me, being the magnanimous lover that I was, or would like to have been given the chance, I wrote to George Rawlings, the county drama advisor, and said, look, substitute me for this other girl, because she didn't do the one before, and I'd rather she had my place. Well, I got a letter back saying, no, that was highly inappropriate because A, she was a girl, and they had so many boys and so many girls on the course, so it wasn't going to happen. But yeah, I tried. I did try. But I guess secretly I was very pleased to be going a second time. I absolutely loved it. And thereon in, when I discovered that they also did weekend courses for amateur drama people and teachers, I just applied. I just kept going on these courses. So whether it was the summer school or indeed the weekend courses, I would just keep going. And for 10 years, Lodge Hill was a very big and important part of my life. And for something like 10 to 13 weekends of the year, I would be at Lodge Hill. Initially, as I say, just as an ordinary student, but I got into, it was like becoming the head prefect, I suppose, if you like. I had a little bit of authority. I would meet and greet people at the door. I would show them up to their rooms. I would introduce them to the different teachers and really just play the part of somebody who was easing people who were quite scared sometimes, being away for the first time, or being, very used to that sort of thing. But just I was there to sort of ease everything in at the reception, run back down again, greet the next people. So I had to be the first person, and I often was the first person to arrive, and the caretaker at Lodge Hill would know me and go, hello, Richard. And yeah, I would even get there before the main people. I was that enthusiastic. Absolutely loved the whole side of it. It was a wonderful experience. Now, there's many stories I could tell, of course, but there's one incident that I wanted to share in this video about Lodge Hill, which actually has nothing to do with the drama and stuff. We put on the plays, and I was learning all sorts of different disciplines, as I said before, including audio and sound, and using reel-to-reel tape recorders, which I also had a fascination for because of my Super 8 filmmaking. But there was, I don't know how these sort of things get in, but in the evenings, in the downtime that we had, we would all assemble in something that was called the Oak Room. And I assume it's still there. It was an oak panelled room that was very much a sort of a gathering room, which we would all just meet in and sit around, like a lounge, but for lots of people. And lots of conversations and things would go on. You weren't allowed to smoke, I don't think, in the Oak Room. People would have to go outside. Although I think people did. I think that actually, when I think back, I think that was the only room you could smoke in those days. So that was our sort of communal room. But on one of the student courses that I was on, the conversation turned to hypnosis. And I said, well, I can hypnotize people. And this one guy said, oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe hypnosis is a thing. I don't think that's, that you couldn't hypnotize me. Now, my backstory to that is that my dad used to dabble in a bit of hypnosis when he was in the RAF. Now, he was only in the RAF as part of national service. So he did whatever the term was that you had to do. And I'm never quite sure how long that was, whether that was a year or 2 years or even 6 months. But he did the basic national service. But in that time, he'd got into a bit of hypnosis and was interested in the power of the mind and those sort of things, as often you are. And I'd sort of got into that. And I was probably about 18 at this time. And this guy was going on about it. And I thought, well, I'll show you. Now, the thing was, I had hypnotized a few people, and when I was doing the hypnosis, you could look at people and you could see that some people were more susceptible than others. I can't do that now. I couldn't look at somebody now, but I know then I was able to look at something. There was something about the way they hold themselves or something that you would go, yeah, you're susceptible. And I looked at this guy who was saying, no, go on, you can't hypnotize me. And I thought, yeah, you are actually susceptible. So we went off to one of the bedrooms with a bunch of other people. So there's about 6 of us in total in this bedroom. And he was going, you won't be able to hypnotize me. So I went through the process of hypnotizing this chap and put him into a deep trance. Now, there was something I hadn't really done in hypnosis before and was dying to give a go at, and that's post-hypnotic suggestion, getting people to do something that they wouldn't ordinarily do. So I hadn't been doing any of the sort of stage hypnosis. It wasn't anything of that. I had just been doing a little bits of healing, you know, taking people's pain away in their arm, helping them fall asleep, trying to get people to stop smoking, that sort of thing. But I hadn't done very much of it. But with this guy, because he'd been taunting me, I wanted to prove that I had hypnotized him, because often you can feel that you've just had a relaxed time and nothing's really happened. So I said to him that when he woke up, every time I said the word peanuts, he would stand up and say, I am lazy. And I put this into his mind, and then I brought him back out of the hypnosis. And of course, those people around had heard this, and they were all waiting for the moment that I said peanuts. And I didn't, because not for a few moments, because I thought also there was a chance that, because it was a drama school, a drama weekend, or week, I forget which one it was, and that this guy would just have been playing along with it and pretending to go through the hypnotic stage, because you could quite easily just pretend. So I knew that he might be waiting for me to say it. So I didn't say it, and I left it for quite some time. And then when I did say the word peanuts, I put it in a conversation so out of the way that he would have had to have had a moment to think, oh golly, there's that word, I better say what I'm supposed to say or not. So I just put it in. So I might have said, well, we better go down for dinner now because peanuts. And immediately he didn't stand up, but he sat bolt upright and went, I am lazy. And of course all the people with me were giggling, and he didn't understand what had gone on. And I very carefully would introduce the word peanuts for the next couple of hours into the conversation. And again, the standing up thing never happened, but he would just become a little bit more upright and say, I am lazy. And now the other people would try and say that they would also say the word peanuts, but nothing would happen because it had to be my voice. And eventually we were sitting down at dinner, and he said, everyone keeps saying peanuts to me. I don't understand. What's that about? What's peanuts got to do with it? And I said to him, well, you know when I hypnotized you? And he said, yeah, you didn't hypnotize me, because that's what he thought. He woke up from the hypnosis going, well, go on then, hypnotize me. And I said, well, every time I say that word, you say, I am lazy. He said, no, I don't. Don't be ridiculous. I said, no, it's true, peanuts. And he went, I am lazy. Ah. And I said, see? And he suddenly realised, and I said, so what is it like when I say that word? What word? Peanuts. I am late. Late. No. He described this as being like an itch. You know, when you have an itch, you automatically scratch it without even thinking. But of course, you can stop yourself from scratching it. So he started to no longer react when I said peanuts. He said, oh, I feel the urge to say it, but I can now stop myself. And that went on a few times. I kept saying peanuts, peanuts, until it became nothing again, and I didn't have to put him into a deep sleep to get him out. But it was quite hilarious. I have another story about my hypnosis times, but I'll save that for another occasion because time is ticking on. But the Lodge Hill experience was absolutely fantastic, and in time we met up with a Czechoslovakian mime artist who had a very strange way of teaching mime, but on the back of him is how I got into mime and eventually went to mime school. But I'll tell you about that in another of these My Story sessions. So if you've enjoyed this, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, follow, like, subscribe, become a patron, all the usual stuff. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.